to the show, everybody. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Watching the Throne on the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. I'm your host, Nico, and joining with me today, we got, what is your name today? Missing some fingers, Alice, up here. We will be the Maester stats here today. We'll be going, taking us through the synopsis of the episode. And JT, Mr. I slept through the last episode egg over here. What's going on, Jay?
He has risen.
Yes, welcome back. Watching the Throne episode 95. We're getting ever so close to episode 100, guys. This is exciting. But yeah, Jay unfortunately was not with us last episode. Me and Christina carried on without him, though, of course, which may or may not happen this next week with Christina, but we'll see what happens. But JT, did you want to get into possibly why you weren't here last episode, why you weren't able to make it, or do you want to leave that for another time?
No, it's a quick one. I was burnt out. I sat there. I was like, all right, I'm going to wait for the show. Next thing I know, it's 11 o'clock at night. I don't know where I am.
Everyone's calling you, freaking out. Is he alive?
At the end of the day, I unfortunately, I passed out and I woke up confused and disoriented, and I thought the show hadn't started yet. I look at my clock; it's 11 o'clock, and I'm like, these guys are probably in fucking bed. I look at my phone; there's about 10 messages back and forth, and then it's like, yeah, this guy probably fell asleep.
I got it right, to be fair. I assumed that was the case. Christina assumed the worst.
Yeah. Well, I was worried, Jay. I was gonna be like, I live in your area. I'll go go see if I can grab him.
I'm happy that you honestly you worried, like, because honestly, I live alone. It's a little nervous.
It's the same.
Yeah, no, it's I'm here, man. The body took a beating last week.
That's all right. Shit happens, but you're back here today. I remember how upset you were to miss out on the last one. So very quickly, guys, before Christina takes it away here and takes us through the synopsis of this episode, and thank you to Christina for taking the notes on this one here. Unfortunately, no assistance for the usual wiki of Westeros on this one, which those fans weren't rabid enough getting those notes out this week, it seems like. But they truly do the Lord's work. I was saying that today to Christina. I'm like, these guys, they put a lot of work in putting these notes together. So shout out to that site as our usual frame of reference to do these episodes, right? Wiki of Westeros. And if you go on there, guys, it seems like a community for like all Game of Thrones fans. You can go there and talk about anything, it seems like, on their message boards, which is kind of interesting. But JT,
shameless plug.
Yeah. JT, any comments on the last episode, though? Because I know that was a big one that you were hoping to talk about with us, and you were very disappointed by the time you woke up last week.
Yeah, no pun intended, eh? No, but yeah, I was excited to realize that, I wasn't the only one out there with the fucking schlong that size. There you go. That's what I was waiting for.
There you go. Yeah. You had a twin. Oh, look who woke up to record. There you go. Julie Mack in the house.
Everybody knows, like, what the fuck is this?
This is our new system now. The comments actually just come up on the screen here. It's kind of convenient. Yeah. So now that one will be displayed for everyone to see. You can also pull this though, but I like having it up there. I actually don't know if everybody can see that. Can all you guys out there see that, Julie? Can you see those displayed, or is that just for the host of the show?
I think it's transparent. I think it's just
that's pretty neat. I like that feature. StreamYard. Every time you jump on here, there's more. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, awesome.
Okay. Cool.
Nice.
But yeah, make sure to like and subscribe, everybody. This is our weekly review overview type show where we've done every Game of Thrones episode and spin-off series so far, and we'll be back again this summer to talk about House of the Dragon. Yeah, that's really cool. I know it is a nice handy feature. I like how there's like a whole scrolling thing of comments there. Very cool. Thanks for tuning in, Julie. I know how much of an avid Game of Thrones fan you are. She literally just came through the bus of JT's balls.
And then dipped straight
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I love it. I love the dedication. But yeah, we'll be back this summer with season 3 of House of the Dragon, and which I think has been confirmed to be 4 seasons all in. And this is, I think, 3 we're at so far. But yeah, go ahead, Christina. Why don't you get into this episode? This was a doozy. Doozy.
For a 31-minute episode, I have 6 pages of notes here. Like, it's crazy how, detailed or how much you can get into or not with these episodes. It's,
it's not too far-fetched though, because I mean, like, you know what it's like. You're a Game of Thrones freak. You've sat there and watched it for years and years. You could probably write your own synopsises and everything just on it yourself and come up with six pages you could come up with 10 pages for each episode still, probably.
Yeah, that's true. I was just shocked, like, that there was this, like, this many pages, like, this many pages for a 31-minute episode. It's, and I haven't done like a recap like this in a while, so but yes, I'm excited to get into it. It was I don't know. Anyway, so this episode of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is called The Squire. It's season 1, episode 3. And I got my recap, like Nico mentioned. Like, we usually get all our synopsis and all of that from Wiki of Westeros, but this one I got from Comic Book Club Live.
Okay.
And yeah, so shout out to them, because they were the only ones who had something prepared to help us out.
Yeah, shouts out to them then. Thank you.
Yeah, so any immediate thoughts you guys want to chat about?
I'm all in. Loving this series. All in. And with this ending, this reveal, which I know you knew, Christina, and I feel like even I danced around these facts last episode, because there was talk about last episode and some of the facts on the episode about how some characters don't have hair. But again, I don't know the names of these Targaryens. They all have similar names. I feel like this was mentioned in House of the Dragon, these characters at one point. I completely forgot that this character was and spoilers, everybody, for anybody that hasn't seen it out there. I completely forgot that this character was a Targaryen character, this egg.
Mm-hmm.
That was a huge jaw drop reveal at the end of the episode. And I'm loving this series. This is great. I mean, even if that wasn't the case, I'm really grown attached to these characters. They're very endearing. This kid is awesome. I'm loving it. It's a lot of fun. It's a nice, as Jay likes to say, palate cleanser between series. I know it really is. Like it's shame on anybody that's not checking this out there. I keep telling people that even if you've never watched Game of Thrones, I saw somebody today that I was chatting about with it, who jumped off of Game of Thrones, wants to go back and revisit it and watch it. I'm like, just start with this. Just jump in there. I'm like, you can just watch this. You don't need to watch the other ones. Yes, it helps knowing the relation between some of the characters, but even we're watching it. I can't remember who this guy's related to and everything like that. I'm just like, this is why we do the synopsis on this website, who like breaks it down. Like I'm a nerd for this thing, but I can't remember what I did last week. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure Jay relates to this. Jay, what'd you think?
I can't remember what happened yesterday. No. What did I think of this episode? Yeah, no, it was good. The problem is it is a slow burn. The girlfriend even says it too. It is a slow burn, but you gotta and to give us only 6 episodes and every time starting to slow it down. I'm a little frustrated with that aspect of it. Half an hour episodes. I could take a shit longer than that, to be honest with you. Like I apologize for it to be but I'm just telling you it's true. And it's kind of pissing me off because they're just doing that. They're like dangling it, and then they throw in something like
just like that
only gonna be one more
thing out of the horse's ass at the start of this episode, right? It's kind of like that, just
You
dangling.
know what? You have to give everybody their praise, bro. Okay, first of all, it was the knight, then the horse had to take a shit in the 3rd episode, and in the middle, poor old man had to take a fucking piss.
Seems to be a theme here.
Not as good as a cold open in this one, though. I mean, it was fun to see him kind of screw around in the open field there.
There's a different, like, from a third. You know what? It was weird because it was a third point perspective. Like it was an angle that you weren't looking of egg. You weren't looking of
Dunk.
Yeah, they were just the camera was panning over them, so you were getting like just a view of them, of somebody you don't know who's looking at them, and if there was anybody looking at them. But it was a kind of neat open, I think. To be honest with you, it was just kind of cool. And then he goes in and goes, and then the fucking horse does that whole neigh thing. Yeah, it's just the timing was cool, right? But you know when I started to figure out slowly in this episode when he might have been a Targaryen is when he started saying something about I don't, and you correct me if I'm wrong with this, Christina or Nico, but then somewhere along House of Dragons mention about my father says I'm crazy. If talking to horses, they're like dogs. There's somewhere I heard that line before.
I can't recall, but I will say
I think
there
it's House
has.
of Dragons.
I will say I don't remember that line, but I will say I do remember now certain things that were said in the first 2 episodes. If you were to go back and re-listen to it, that were definite like indicators that this was the case. And again, like we never really gave it much thought. Like, how does this guy know everybody? Like, how is he aware of like who's who in these? There was even a moment where I was reading it online where he asked him if he's from Flea Bottom when he mentions that he's from King's Landing, and he said no. And if you're not from Flea Bottom and you're part of King's Landing, then that means that you're probably a royal or you're working for one. And he didn't mention that. He kind of, they just kind of, yeah. So like, so that was interesting. And not only that, I really kind of had an idea, but again, only in retrospect, like after the fact, you got to the end of the episode, after that woman gave which we'll get into, the fortune. Prophecy. Yeah. Then I'm like, okay, something's going on here. I'm like, with this whole king business. So, I mean, this is a little bit jumping ahead, Christina, but is he the grandfather or the father of the Mad King?
I think he's the...
Yeah, Jay. Yeah,
probably grandfather.
I don't know. I don't think it's this line.
No, I think it is. I think there's a direct correlation between him and the Mad King.
Because they mentioned in this episode, or is it this one? Or was it
like I said, I've been trying to avoid family trees and stuff. But yeah, like now we can put the pieces together. Now we know who he is. He does.
I didn't look anything up either, but I believe there's a direct.
Yeah, I don't think he must be the grandfather because there's still too many years. It's still like
because the Mad King was the last Targaryen in power. Right. But
I still think like there's at least like 80 years, right, in between now and Game of Thrones. So it's like he must be if anyone knows that's watching, but I don't know. He's some
there's a connection. I'm pretty sure.
I feel like I saw something where he's like the great grandfather of Daenerys. So if he's the great grandfather, then he's probably the Mad King's father.
Yeah.
Or the Mad King's grandfather.
Because why else would they be?
I'm thinking grandfather. 30 years apart. They don't live that long back then either. They're not living to 80 years old.
It is related to him though, because we know that he comes after him. We know this. Like, we know that the Mad King is the last one in power. Therefore, it takes place after this. And I'm pretty sure there's a connection between this character and the Mad King. I might be wrong, though, because I haven't looked into it all too much either. But I believe that's the case. Also, the idea that they're celebrating his death, if you're going to believe what this fortune teller said, you know what I mean? Like, there's something going on there. That was very interesting, that part where she said that. And like, I just love how they brushed it off, like where he's just like, Doug just laughs. He's like, yeah, okay, get out of here, you crazy old lady, like you crazy witch. You know?
An egg is like, like,
yeah. Why would you say that? But yeah, sorry, I'm stomping on your seed. So go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
What do you think of it, Christina?
Yeah, again, like I'm enjoying it. Not as funny. Actually, no, it was funny. It had its moments that were like pretty comical. But again, like you're just I'm falling in love with these two, like this pair.
Yes.
And I don't know, I'm just really enjoying watching them like essentially do nothing. Like there's nothing really going on with them, but like it just seems like such a nice story to like. Yeah, it's such a nice pairing. I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, the 30 minutes seems like annoying, but it feels like almost a full episode because I think they're packing so much in and it's so entertaining.
It's true, Jay. You got to look at it from that perspective too, because the pacing is definitely
slower.
the pacing is definitely different for this show, deliberately so, and I think it's a good thing. Oh, there you go. He's the uncle.
Yeah, see, I didn't think he was like the grandfather. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's like a direct descendant. I think there's someone. Yeah, there's someone else. Like, it's not.
Okay, and I lay off on the Google. That's it. No more. We don't know how to know. We want to know more things, but thank you for that. Thank you for that.
We have a stats. Yeah. We already have a stats in the fucking house.
I just don't want to reveal too much more. But yes, thank you for that answer, because that I was interested in. I mean, I don't think we're going to see that in the course of this show, so it doesn't matter, quite frankly. But that's just more for like.
It all depends on what their jump line is. Like if they're going to pull like a Euphoria and do a 5-year jump line.
Because I feel like you sounded like the least jazzed out of all of us, Jay. I get where you're coming from by saying that you want to spend more time with these characters, and like what Christina said. Because I think with this episode, I agree. Yeah, I agree with both of what you're saying. I'm disappointed that they're only half an hour, but at the same time, like with this one, I'm locked in. I like this world. I like these characters now. Like it took a couple, to kind of get used to it, but by the end of this one, I'm like, oh yeah, this is great.
The thing with this one is that it's not that it's a quick filming. And it feels like it's playing out slow, like 30 minutes, but you're actually getting a lot of information that you have to think about too. So there is those slow minutes that I think that downtime in between a little bit that might feel like it's dragging on, if that makes sense, because there is a lot of time where they'll say something and it kind of relates to something, and you start thinking, where am I hearing? Where is this relating closer to? Is it closer to? Because this is in the middle of the era, right? So you're trying to just figure out we know about how the knights fight, we know about all that kind of stuff and that, but then they're packing in other characters in there, like One-Eyed Willie over there, and I don't remember his name, but you know what I mean, the one that came up for the horse. So yeah, I just think that's the way the difference is. Like and they put a lot of shit. They do put a lot of detail into this, so it's got to be costly even to run a production like this for a great hour of it,
Yeah.
But no, I think it is right. It is just comforting with these characters. It's not the same kind of bloodshed. We haven't seen it yet, but bloodshed and fucking no tears that Game of Thrones and House of Dragons brings us. You know what I mean?
I commend the effort to change the tone and type of show that they're putting out here, because we could have just gotten another hour drama, like told in like a bleak period of Game of Thrones with horrible characters, but instead they gave us the complete opposite of that so far with these stories. So I think that, like I said, I think it's the juxtaposition of this going back to House of the Dragon this summer. It's gonna be good. That's right, Sir Nico. I'm the spitting game master.
I forgot. Oh God.
Actually, I got that kind of phlegm this week in my throat again. Yeah.
There you go. Why don't you give us one of those later on?
Probably by the
end my! Do I have to pull out the moving on?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, Christy. Yeah, it's time. Your turn.
No. I'm kidding. But yeah. Anyways, I'm excited to see what happens next. But yeah, so I guess we'll just get into the episode. Okay, so like we mentioned,
there you go. Simple. The gong. Sorry. That's the moving on gong. Go ahead.
I haven't heard that. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Okay. Like it was mentioned in a bit. So the episode opens up. Dunk is asleep. Egg is laying next to him. He's just kind of staring at him. Flips over on his back and he lets out like a whinny or like something like that, but it's actually the horse. And then like our title card comes up. So it's like, that's our cold open. It's not like it has been. It's not like nothing grand, nothing, anything like that's just
no huge schlongs,
no poops, no, like, just that. Right. Like, then we're over to Egg and it's like obviously early morning and he's leading a horse, the brown horse, through I guess this like beautiful majestic like forest scene. It's really kind of nice. He does grab Dunk's sword, so you're kind of thinking, I don't know, I was thinking like what the hell is he doing? Like, where is he going?
Go party, yeah.
You know, but anyways, the scene was really nice walking through the forest with the sun peeking through the trees and whatever. And he gets to like some open fields, and I guess Egg is yelling at the horse, trying to get it to move and run. And he's explaining in his scene, talking to the horse, that he's trying to get it prepared for the tournament, trying to get it prepared for jousting. Yeah, and he's just calling it stubborn, and he's calling it Thunder. So we're assuming this horse's name is Thunder. We learned in the last episode that the white horse's name was Sweetfoot, which is kind of cute.
Yeah.
So I think this horse's name is Thunder.
What the fuck calls their name horse Sweetfoot?
Well,
What kind of knight calls his horse Sweetfoot? No wonder they didn't recognize and notice him.
He's a hedge knight.
He's a schlong knight. That's what he is, buddy.
Yeah. So
sorry, just one comment about this. I actually just realized right now when you're talking about this intro, we also didn't get any flashbacks this episode. First one.
Far, yeah, we did get a flashback.
What?
Not a flashback. Episode? Yeah.
Which one?
When he meets Mad Eye Moody. Coming up.
In this episode. Oh.
Yeah.
But there was nothing with the knight.
No.
Okay.
Not with Dunk. No, not with Sir Arlen.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
because this episode, which we didn't really discuss yet, but like, this episode seems to be from the perspective of Egg. It's the first episode,
right? Which I really liked, like that they kind of gave it to like, hence the name of the Squire of this episode, right? Like he is the main focus of this one. It's like from his POV.
Yeah. So in the last 2 episodes, we have gotten a lot of flashbacks or whatever from Dunk. Especially surrounding like Sir Arlen of Pennytree, his lord or his like master kind of thing. But no, this one is, I think, more from the perspective of Egg, the Squire.
Right.
He does have a little, like, not even a flashback, but just like a memory, or what might have been a memory. But in the back to the scene with the horse, he does say to the horse, and Jay mentioned it, like, my father told me I should never talk to a horse. He said they're dumber than dogs and only understand the crop. But I don't know if that's true. I think a horse doesn't want to be ordered about any more than a man does. And it was just interesting.
The horse said yes.
Yeah, like the horse was like seeming to respond, like just nodding, or I don't know. It was really cute.
Nodding off like Nico too. Maybe.
Yeah. Anyways, Egg tries to train him again, and as he's hooting, like just screaming for him to move, run, whatever, the horse stands there and he takes a giant poop. Like, it was kind of funny.
I mean, he's a horse. What do you want?
Yeah.
Horse is a horse, of course.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
That was a good movie.
Yeah. And then like the scene just kind of quick switches. Like now the horse is picking it up, is flying back and forth across the field. And, Egg is off to the sides, like whooping and hollering, like, and, just egging.
He's training himself too, if you think about it. I mean.
He's grabbing the lance and he's like pretending he's handing it to Dunk, and he's preparing the horse for the joust. Obviously doesn't want Dunk to lose.
No, he's got some power. I mean, he's holding up that lance and that sword too, like a true champion, or like a true squire.
And then I guess as he's training, he's approached by this man who seems to only have one eye. He has an eye patch and a thing over his eye, and the older man, he accuses Egg of stealing the horse, and instead of like Egg saying he's like, no, he's training for Dunk, or kind of being obvious, he like very eggishly responds back, well, they're just trading barbs, like they just kind of go back and forth, and the knight kind of asks him like, what's wrong with your hair? And then Egg says, like, in a funny scene, like, well, what's wrong with your eye?
Wait, what happened to your eye? I can't do the British voice.
Yeah. And Yeah. And in that moment, that's when Egg has like a quick flashback or a memory. Like it's not really a flashback, but it's a memory of this gentleman like on a horse jousting, and he loses an eye. I think he takes a lance to the face or something like that. And he's
Okay, yeah,
riding through the horse, like on his horse, like, and his eyeball is like dangling out of his face. I was like, ugh, that's gross.
it's cool.
Yeah, that was the flashback there. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Egg realizes his name is like Sir Robin Riesling, and he's known as the maddest knight in the Seven Kingdoms. So
I don't know why Riesling sounds familiar. I mean, I know why it sounds familiar in my head sometimes. No, I know, but I mean, yeah, no, but for a name, for like, I don't know why. I don't know what the hell, if it was this show or not. Sir, yeah, Sir. That was just funny with
Robin
the one
Riesling.
I actually talked about your book last episode when you weren't here with us. You don't have it nearby. You should have showed it off, bro. You and your tree.
Oh man, I don't have it right beside me. So I'd have to go get up and get it. But they, yeah, I could go in the fucking whole family tree and figure it all out. But I don't know if it would have anything to do with this. It's only based on the
No, it's Game of Thrones only. Yeah, it's like that show. It's specifically about the characters that show up in the television show. I was telling Christina all about how you got a book with a tree on it too now. Like I also last episode there was a lot of references to trees. I don't know if you recall that, Jay. Yeah. Christina was throwing that out there in your absence last episode. She's like, Jay might be onto something with these trees.
I'm telling you, man.
Get what he's putting.
I love the fucking trees.
Guess what he's putting on his shield, Jay? As his
as the tree over top, like an umbrella, like the shield. It's probably the tree that's on the fucking book. I'm not even about it.
No, it's this tree, like in the background.
No, it's an elm. Yeah,
but it's still an umbrella style looking tree as that pose. That's just grown warped, that elm tree. It can grow straight up. And
no, there's a picture of the tree, like there's on the shield and the background here. How it's gonna look.
Yeah, that's almost like the other one, except the other one maybe doesn't have the branches trimmed as much.
It all goes back to a tree, Jay. You know this.
Always, this whole fucking series is nothing but a tree. Think about it. This guy's as fucking tall as a tree.
I've said that in the last recording too.
Yeah, I was like, don't you start with this fucking tree business, Christina. Jay's not here. Get off of this tree talk, right?
Maybe she knows something we don't know. I don't know. Maybe she knows something that I might be hitting on.
No, I don't. Like, I'm just like, it was just like something that I came across, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, Jay's right. Oh man, I have to admit that online.
I love when people have to admit that right online. And then it's out there live in the internet.
We're just gonna change. We're just gonna change the name of this show to "Watching the Trees."
Watching the trees with JT's right?
Yeah.
Trees on the Throne, episode 96. That'll be our next episode. All right, go. Sorry, Christina. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, so that's basically the scene, like, and then like we don't really hear about this knight guy anymore, but I don't know if he's gonna be he's probably gonna be an important character later on, but
probably
he doesn't show up in the rest of the episode, but he looks pretty menacing and he's got a pretty badass title, so we'll see. But next scene, Egg heads back to camp and Dunk is sitting by the tree and he's sewing a patch in his clothes, and Egg asks him, like, well, isn't that my job?
Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah, it's the Squire's job.
Yeah, and Dunk was like, well, do you know how to sew? And he's like, no. So, anyways, they just do their usual, like, tit for tat kind of thing, back and forth. And Dunk gets pretty rude with him, and then I guess feels like a little guilty or a little bad that like he's being a little mean to Egg, because I guess he sees himself in Egg as a young squire. So anyways, he relents and he's like, okay, like, so he starts teaching him how to sew, and then they have this nice next scene where they're like practicing sewing and he's showing him how to do it, and he's like really proud of him when he does it correctly. And
see, he's sewing,
so they're just continuing.
He's sewing a little bit, Dunk. You think he's a little bit of a eunuch or what? You think he's got nothing down there? He's sewing? There you go.
He has to have stuff down there, because literally in this next thing he asks, he's like, is it odd that I have black hair growing out of my stones?
Stones, I know.
It's one of the quotes I wrote down. Great quote this episode. I quite liked that. He's like, no, but it's weird you're telling me about.
I had a question. But I had a question about that.
I actually laughed out loud.
I mean, now that at the end of the episode we find out all that. I mean, but I had a question about that. Isn't the carpet supposed to match the rug?
Not in his case.
Well, he's bald anyways. But if
Actually,
he wouldn't have been bald, he would have been a white-headed kid. No,
they actually mentioned last episode, and this is what I had talked about. There's 2 Targaryens that have black hair instead of white hair that are around during this period. There's reference about it last episode. And if we are to believe, he might be one of them, even though he said, "Where's your hair?" And he's like, "I don't want to look like you" at the end of the episode. Maybe there's some truth to that. Maybe he does have black hair. I don't know. Like, you're right. I guess we'll find.
But I even think, like, unless you're like albino, I don't know. Maybe if anyone knows or has experience, if you've interacted with someone who's super blonde, do they have blonde pubes? Because I think that's weird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think that's just weird. I think like naturally, like, pubic hair is like darker. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Okay. I just had a quick question. We don't have to keep talking about pubic hair. It's all over my
face. Now I'm making you uncomfortable. Let's discuss pubic
You're the
hair.
one in the peanut gallery over there making these stupid fucking comments while she's trying to talk about the synopsis. All right, go on, Christina.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Anyways, yeah, again, like, it's funny, like, how they're talking, like, you know, they have these like bonding moments, but then anyways, moving on. Okay, so this next scene, Egg is sitting in a tree. They're still together. They're still doing their thing. Like, they're whatever. And he's sitting in a tree and he's whittling like something, like a stick or something. Like, he's carving a stick or something. I don't know what he's doing, but he's
song.
He's saying a song and he's talking about, like, I don't know. I wasn't really like, I have it printed out, but it's basically like, along the same lines as like Miss Lucy had a steamboat. And it's like there's a lore behind it. I think there's something to do with like the Blackfire Rebellion. Again, like they don't really talk about this in the episode, but like there is a lore that goes along with this. If you guys want to, we can get into it, or we can just kind of leave it. Okay. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, we can leave it be. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot. Anyways, so Egg is there. He's reciting this ballad or something in this tree while he's whittling. And Dunk is like behind another tree, either shitting himself or puking himself. You don't really know until like he reveals himself. And he kind of comes over to Egg. And he says that he's ready to go and enter the lists. And, you know, but Dunk was like, well, you don't have your shield. And, you know, secondly, but most importantly, like, you can't actually joust yet.
Yeah.
Because you're not of like a knight of highborn or power or something. So
for the royals today, essentially, you have to be like, you have some stature. Like, he's going to be in the last group of tournaments.
The first challenge.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so then Dunk's like, well, then why have I been vomiting all morning? And Egg's like, I don't know. It's a mystery to me. Like,
yeah. I love
again, just another like,
they're way better than like, JT's
another
comments.
like,
I'll say that much.
And the crowd goes silent.
You want to hear? You want to hear it? Yeah. Thanks.
Amazing. So so that's just the morning for these guys. Then we back, like, I guess the caravan area, like Dunk is trying to get some eggs, and the guy who has the goose egg, like, he wants to murder the goose, and Dunk's like, no, I just want the eggs, and he's trying to explain eggs, and the guy keeps wanting to hack the head off the goose, and it's just fun.
And he looks like an idiot in front of that woman. Yeah.
Then Tanzel Too Tall, the puppeteer who Dunk has a crush on.
Oh, some goose.
You know,
he looks like a big goof. Is what he looks.
He's just awkwardly like flirting. It's really like awkward, and he gets his eggs, and he's asking her if she likes eggs, and she's like, "Your shield will be ready later." Like,
he's shy.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor guy. You know, I mean, if you had to walk around with a knight that had a fucking schlong like his partners there, I mean, I'd be shy too. It's like hanging around Nico in public.
Egg has more game than this guy, honestly.
100%. And then it was even cute. Like, Egg met up with Dunk, and he's like, "Ooh," like, that was cute too.
You like her.
What else? Oh yeah, so then I guess there's another like there's a lot of sweet scenes between the two of these guys. Like it cuts to another scene, they're sitting on a hill overlooking.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah. He's talking about the sandwich.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Sorry, yeah,
You can't skip them eating the sandwich, Christina. Come on.
I know. I was like, wait, yeah, no. So then, they're back at camp and they have this nice piece of bacon or big piece of meat and they're frying up and eggs looking at it like, oh, and then crack the goose egg open. Oh my God, those eggs are huge.
Yeah.
They're frying up a nice sandwich. He rips a nice piece of fresh bread. They seem like they're eating well, like money well spent.
Yeah.
And
there's some nice eggs.
What else? Oh, and then they start talking about, where are they?
I think this is when the game master shows up, right?
Yeah, they're just bickering. Yeah. Anyways, and then the
game master takes a good one. Yeah.
Then Plumber, the game master, kind of calls Dunk over, and he's like, "I have a proposition for you," or he kind of takes him to like a stream in the woods, and he confesses to Dunk. Plumber confesses to Dunk that Lord Ashford, I guess, who's hosting the joust or the tournament, has richly overspent on his daughter's pageant. Dunk thinks that Plumber wants money, which he doesn't have, but instead Plumber has a proposal. He says that Dunk should take on Sir Andro, Lord Ashford's youngest, and win the joust. And specifically because Andro is really good at jousting, if Dunk wins and like beats him, whoever voted or bet on Dunk would win like a hefty sum of money.
So basically whoever's cheating, because I feel like there's going to be a cheating coming up.
Right. So, I mean, that's what Dunk's, the rest of Dunk's, like, his inner monologue, or his, like, he's a good guy. He's not really the skeezy type of guy. He doesn't seem like it anyways. He doesn't know how to play the game that way yet.
I thought this was really interesting because like so many movies and things we've seen where like a boxer throws a fight. This is actually the complete opposite. This is the other person they want to bet on, because obviously if he were to face this other guy that has experience and he is nobody to these people, the bet would be better for him to win, obviously, as opposed to the other guy. So he wants the bank on him to win, and as an exchange he gets all the glory and the praise for beating this guy and makes a name for himself, but in exchange he knows that he's not going to be doing an honest thing, and they were going to benefit from it because they're going to make all this money back as a result of betting on Dunk, which I thought was interesting because usually it's the opposite in these types of scenarios. Usually they want like the good guy to take a fall. Which they are
the match or something,
which they are, but like in the sense that they're asking him instead of the other guy. You know what I mean? Like it's interesting. It's a little different than what we are used to, like in this scenario. Which I had to play it back. I'm like, wait, I gotta understand like what's going on here. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to watch it like at least twice, and then even when I was doing the notes or reading the notes, I was like, is that what he's asking? Like I had to even, that's why I read it in full, because I'm just like, I don't want to mess this up and I don't want to get the like wrong impression. But yeah, it's interesting how they're him winning, but it's not like he might not win unless something happens that Dunk doesn't. I don't know. It's weird.
I think they want to bet on Dunk to win, and then the payout would be a lot more for him to win. Like, because he's nobody in this tournament. Now, if he beats the other guy who is a somebody in this tournament, Lord Ashford's whatever, like his nephew,
his son.
That's why they want to bet on him to win. The only thing that would suck is that his son has to basically pretend like he's going to lose to this fucking guy. Now, I mean, this is jumping ahead, but if I had to predict what's going to go down here, he's not going to like the idea of whatever this is, if I had to guess. Like, I bet you that this hasn't been sold to him as of yet, even though his family might be like financially ruined and that's why they need him to do this. I guarantee you that the nephew does not know about this yet, and that's why he needs him to agree to do it before they deliver this news to him. Because why would a known knight want to lose to this guy who's nobody, right? Like, that's going to do nothing for him.
He wants
okay, now I get it.
You get it? Yeah,
and he's probably betting against like the Lord Ashford's son is probably betting against himself too, so that he can win back some of the money to like help his dad pay off the debts.
But it's just
okay. Now I get it.
It's the opposite of every scenario where you kind of really
throwing a fight.
Yeah, like I've seen so many movies where the boxer's supposed to throw the fight. That's like the good boxer because they want to bet on the bad guy to win, like the mob or whatever, the guy who isn't expected because the odds are better then. But in this case, they're going to the person that should technically lose, right? And instead of the person that should technically win, and they're telling the guy that should lose, hey, you're gonna win, you're gonna look like a hero, like you're gonna come off away from this, it's gonna benefit you, right? Like that's kind of what was interesting about this exchange. I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, it was
done in that.
It's gonna get him proper. No, from a different perspective of it. That's all. And it's just gonna help him get a little bit more. If he beats him, if it's gonna help him get a little bit more money under his belt for his equipment and his stuff that he needs to, right?
But morally, will he actually go through with it? Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, because like he says, I want to win fair and square. Like he essentially says, I don't want a handout. I want to win like fair. So I don't know. We'll see if he takes the proposition or not. He kind of seems to be like conflicted about it, but
he's got bigger problems by next episode. Yeah, so.
Yeah. So the next scene, we're now at the challenge with like, the high lords and royals and people of high birth and whatever. And Prince Arion, I guess he's Makar's son. Makar's son. Yeah. Anyways, he's there and he's next up in the list. He's wearing a very impressive black suit of armor with a dragon Hellion face mask. I don't know, it's kind of badass looking, but he's also a Targaryen, so I would expect nothing less. And he goes over to his cousin and says, I won't embarrass you today. But then goes over to Sir Humphrey Harding, who is also like just, seems like a highborn man, but no one of like importance or anything. I think he's just being a shit, and he just picks him. And okay, he answers the call, gets his checkered shield, armor, whatever. Anyway, so they start jousting, or they whatever, and of course Arion, like, first pass, he swings away, so he, that was kind of like bullshit, and the crowd kind of is upset about it. And then the second pass, Dunk realizes Arion's like joust, or his lance, sorry, not his joust, his lance is a little too low, and Arion makes contact with the horse, which I knew. I was like, oh my god, he's going for the horse. Mm-hmm. He's gonna go for the fucking horse. And of course, he not only like, usually you see that you're like, okay, he's gonna trip the horse up. No, he actually like stabs the horse in the fucking neck, like right in the like thick part of the neck, like down here before it hits the like chest area. Oh my god. So of course the horse goes down. He falls, falls on Sir Humphrey, crushes his leg, or we think it's his leg. It could be his whole bottom. I don't know. Who knows? But
yeah, he was not good.
And then the crowd's starting to go rioting because
angry mob
bullshit. Yeah. And then the King's Guard comes out. There's chaos. There's ruin. Egg is obviously looking on with Dunk, and at first they're just bewildered. It's just a chaotic scene.
Dunk is so gullible though, man. Like, I know you're going to get into it in these other future scenes here, but the fact that he actually for a second thought that wasn't purposeful, like, come on now, man. Like, I mean, I get we know these people in this world more than he does in this show from knowing Targaryen behavior and stuff like that. Some of the hot-headedness that comes with their people, but like, that's such a fucking dirty, cheap shot that he pulled off with this horse in this episode. Like, that was disgusting that he did that. I'm not surprised one bit, but the fact that he's gullible enough to not read the play and everybody else there knew what he did, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that was interesting too. Like, he's he's such a good person. Like, he doesn't even think ill will of other people, it seems like, in this show. Like, he doesn't for once think that he did it. Oh yeah, that was a big accident. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was crazy.
Yeah. I was a little, you know, but then also, like, I also read another comment, like, on this, you know, so far what we've seen, maybe not from Game of Thrones so much, but from definitely House of the Dragon, because it all surrounds the Targaryens, but like how far they've fallen, like, in, you know, 100 years.
Dragons now, yeah.
Right, because now the Targaryens don't have dragons, like, in this world. They don't have dragons, and, you know, so much so that the people, like, don't seem to hold them as high esteem as they, like, one, like, he got hit in the head with a rock, like, you know, somebody whipped a rock at him, like, that would never have happened in Rhaenyra's time, and even with Daenerys, like, that wouldn't have happened, you know, like, really.
But
it's just
again,
it's just interesting how.
But that's why it's so cool to see the juxtaposition of them putting this show in between House of the Dragon coming back out this summer, because you really get another look of the family in a different time period post House of the Dragon. And now we're going to go back and see House of the Dragon in the middle of this war this summer that they're dealing with, when they're also going through it. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Like, I think it is. It's an interesting way to look at
a pivot point.
Yeah, like, it's an interesting look at the characters, like, in different time periods and different descendants of the same characters that we know from the other series, right? So
yeah.
This is like you can see it as this is where the pivot changes, like, from Targaryen to, like, where Game of Thrones, when it went more to Lannister and stuff like that, right?
Well, you can see how they were so easily taken over, right? Like, you can kind of see the fall of, like, the Targaryens, like,
in that sense.
So yeah, we'll see.
I mean, they still look cool.
Anyways, of course. Well, they still have the pageantry in the name, but it's slowly becoming less and less what it was. Yeah. So after this scene, like you said, like, you know, Dunk and Egg have walked away from the joust, and so the next scene, we're now, like, in a tent, and we're back with the Baratheons. You know, Lionel Baratheon is
having some cider
in his drunken glory, and they're, you know, having a party or whatever. I don't know what they're celebrating, but
dancing,
you know, it
singing,
doesn't matter. But
drinking, love this guy.
And of course, singing a song. They're singing a song about drunkenly recounting the tale of Three-Fingered Alice.
Three-Fingered Alice.
And anyways, the song is not very tasteful, but hilarious. And Egg is obviously being a young boy and asking Dunk, again, just getting comical, just asking him, like, you know, like, who is this person? Do you really believe there was a crippled girl who shoved her hand up men's asses? Like, you know, and then they debate if she was a real person, if Alice was her real name.
He poses,
you know, it was just funny.
He poses the question to basically say, like, this woman was so legendary with playing with people's bodies or something, that her name isn't, like, you know, mentioned or is mentioned in the song. Like, I just like what he said about that.
Yeah, like they saw
so
that they saw fit to celebrate her in song, yet they could not bother credit her true name.
Right.
Like, you know, is Alice her real name? Is it not? I don't know. It's very, like,
it's a crab lady.
Anyways, it's just it turns into a conversation about honor and, you know, anyways, it was another funny, like, moment between the two of these characters. It's interesting. You go from, like, horror to, like, comedy, which we haven't really gotten in, like, Game of Thrones, or it's just all horror or drama. Like, there's no comedy. Like,
well, I will say, Tyrion always was probably the funniest character in Game of Thrones, but I think in comparison even to House of the Dragon is even more serious than Game of Thrones was, honestly. Like, because
this is so lighthearted.
Yeah, because you always had House of the Dragon, because they're focused on that family more so. You don't have as interesting and diverse of a cast as you had in Game of Thrones. In Game of Thrones, you could afford to have a funny character peppered in here and there because you have all these other more serious characters, right? In House of the Dragon, it's like bouncing from one family member to the next when they're in constant war or feuding with one another. So you're not really getting any levity in those situations, right? So I find that to be the most serious of the shows out of all of them.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that's that. And then they're leaving the tent, and then Dunk asks Egg whether he knew his father, and Egg was like, not really. Kind of alludes to, I wonder who his father is, or if we're going to get a backstory. But we did learn a little bit more backstory about Dunk in this conversation. From Flea Bottom, his dad was a pot, or I don't know, his dad was maybe a thief. I don't know. He saw his dad hanged. But he was just as tall as he was. Like, so he's like, he wasn't a good thief, obviously. And they just had a conversation about dads, like in this scene. And then as they're wandering again through more of the marketplace, that's when they encounter the fortune teller, and she approaches the duo and offers to tell them their futures. And, Dunk is like, yeah, go ahead, old lady. Like, sure, go on. And she says to Dunk that you shall know great success and be richer than a Lannister. And he's like, okay, yeah, whatever, thanks. Like, great.
I kind of bodes well with
and fun.
I kind of bodes well with that conversation earlier, right? With the guy saying to throw that to win the match, right? Right? She's thinking that.
Yeah, but like he's also drunk. He's been drinking. He just thinks this woman is just like bullshit. Well, yeah, she's a fortune teller. Like, that's her job. But like, you got mixed reviews with people who believe in fortune tellers and not psychics and all that. So he's just like, whatever. And then he's like, great. Now do the boy. Like, he's so unserious about it and doesn't believe it at all that he's like, yeah. Give the kid his future, right? Like, just whatever. And she says, you shall be king and die in hot fire, and worms shall feed upon your ashes, and all who know you shall rejoice in your dying. It's like,
kind of fucking scary. It's like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, like, I mean, to like a little kid, and especially because obviously Egg knows who he is. Like, he knows who he is. Dunk thinks it's hilarious because he's like, oh yeah, you're gonna be king, ha ha ha. Like,
he's just shocked, and she's like, why would she say that? Right after like she leaves, he's just like aghast. Yeah,
he's halfway through his life already, and don't worry.
Yeah, anyway, so they're walking away, and then they run into Raymond Fossaway. He was the squire that we met first episode with his cousin. They were first episode. Yeah, they were fighting from the apple family, and the
one that got knocked through the fence.
The apple. Yes. So he ran into the squire, like Raymond, and he asks them if they want to come by into their tent for a cup of cider, because they make it, obviously, like they're the Apple House. But Egg notices that the puppet show is about to start. So he says to Dunk, like, I'll go to the puppet show, collect your shield, and then I'll come meet you at the cider house. You go there, whatever. Okay. Mm-hmm. So Dunk goes with Fossaway to the tent to have some cider and just whatever. So they're in the tent. And, Raymond Fossaway, the guy whose tent it is, he's not very complimentary. They're talking about the challenges, and he's saying that his cousin, who was the dick in the first episode, is not very, he's not very kind, and he's not giving him like great accolades, and says that he'll likely challenge whoever is wounded because he's just easy pickings kind of thing for this kind of a tournament. Dunk, I think, because he's been thinking about this proposition, he kind of says like, well, like, I could be equally matched up with like Sir Andrew, and I guess he's trying to get a feeling for what this guy thinks about that. But then Raymond offers up that Arian's horse ended up with the wounded Sir Humphrey. So I don't know what that means. I don't remember that.
Can you repeat that?
Something about the horse, like Aeryn's horse, like the Targaryen's horse ended up with Sir Humphrey, or ended up like wound. I don't know. It was just, I don't know.
After he was in the jousting tournament. Because there's a reason why I guess he's walking around and he encounters what he saw in the puppet show in that scene. Because he's walking around at that period, right? Because the horse after the jousting tournament, maybe that's what they were just trying to say, is that the horse got taken away afterwards, and therefore, he's walking the grounds of the tournament, and then he came across the puppet show, right?
He went to go just see what's up. That's all. And then I came across. The horse was probably going to rest.
Yeah. So there's this this Raymond, obviously he's drinking a lot, and then he starts like telling Dunk about how his true feelings are about the Targaryens, and like how the only honorable thing a Targaryen can do for the realm is to finish on his wife's tits. Because they're all like incestuous, like aliens.
I was thinking that's where it was coming from. The inbreed, all the inbreeding and all that crap.
Yeah, but he does say he's like, they're blood magickers and tyrants who burned our lands, enslaved our people, dragged us into their wars without a motive of respect for our history and our customs. So again, it just plays on like what we were talking about just a few minutes ago about like how far the Targaryens have fallen. Like they're not even respected by the people. No. Like they're just known as like vagrants, really.
Yeah, although like, that does track for different people of power as well. Like you don't need to be respected by everybody. I mean, that's just the way of the world. I mean, even with the Lannisters, no one fucking respected them by the time that certain people were in power in Game of Thrones, right? But you're right, they were revered at one point, and now they're clearly not, even amongst commoners.
Yeah,
like that you're seeing here, or even in this festival with other royals, right? Like that's, I guess, the reality of it. No, you're absolutely right. It is interesting to see how they've fallen in from favor with these folks.
Next scene, we're at the puppet show, and Tenzil is performing a show where knights fight a giant dragon puppet. And then they ultimately kill it, and it kind of
Targaryen.
Tenzil kind of stops, and the camera kind of pans over, and Prince Aerion is standing in the crowd, and it's just kind of like a very tense moment, because it's like, oh god, like she killed a dragon, like in it. Anyways,
it was a bad thing.
We quickly go back to Raymond and Dunk. Sorry, Jay.
No, it's a bad thing in that aspect. I mean, if they are losing their power, I mean, they would take it as a disrespect, even though they're a big family. You would take it, especially if you've had a few drinks after you just won a cheap ass fight.
I think the dragon thing is a sore spot as well, if they don't really have dragons now, right?
It's gonna suck, because who can you talk to, right? I mean, if you can't talk to the dragons, you got to talk to your family.
I mean,
so who the fuck wants to talk to them?
Obviously, the play is just telling stories of things that have happened within the realm. But for him to walk through the door as soon as that is happening, I get it. Like, I get why he'd be pissed off, but he didn't have to do what he did. Obviously, he's
but it's also like metaphorical, maybe in this sense too, right? It's like you're stabbing not even just a real dragon, but like the manifestation of a dragon, because Targaryens believe that they are manifested from dragons, right? Like, especially Aerion, he thinks he is a dragon. Like he's anyway. So he's just
that's a good point.
This Targaryen guy.
That kind of
so we quickly pan back
treasonous to kind of do something. Yeah, for sure.
We quickly pan back to Raymond and Dunk, and they're talking, and they're talking about like the missing princes again. So we're getting a little bit more of that backstory, and like that keeps coming up, like the two young princes are missing, and he's kind of explaining a little bit about each of the princes and like how they are personality wise. And right as he's about to talk about the youngest son, Egg runs into the tent and is calling for help and saying that they need to go over to the puppet show like ASAP, like he needs help. Aerion is wrecking, whatever, and he's hurting Tenzil. And so Dunk runs over to the tent, and as he walks into the tent and he sees Arion up on stage, like, and he breaks like Tansel's finger. Dunk like attacks him, like goes right for him, and kind of beats him up a little bit. And like there's 3 Kingsguard on him, and he still manages to like boot him in the face, like boot Arion in the face. And it takes like 3 Kingsguard to like with all of their might, all of their weight to hold Dunk down. And Arion kind of like gets up and he looks at Dunk and he's like, why would you throw your life away for this whore? She's scarcely worth it. She's a traitor. The dragon ought never lose. And the punishment, because Dunk loosened one of Arion's teeth, was that they're going to break all of Dunk's teeth. And, Dunk fights back, but they work him down. And I think, okay, they're going to beat him in the face or something. But no, they were going to fucking like curb stomp him.
Yeah, I was gonna say American History X over there, curb stomp him. That's
I was gonna say, I was like, oh, they're gonna Edward Norton him, like fucking
Jesus.
hell.
Yeah, brutal.
Like on the stage, and just about they have his.
But you can expect that in the Game of Thrones time. You know what I mean? Like I can expect that.
Curb stomp. Well, yeah. Well, even so, that's like the dirt.
Didn't have curbs even then.
Yeah. Put your fucking
I can't even
in the dirt stomp you.
It's so true.
Brutal.
Look,
yeah, I still have nightmares about that American History X like scene. Like I can't even like.
I know.
I haven't watched that movie in like 45 years, and it's like I'm still like I can't like I.
Yeah,
anyways.
it's a brutal.
So this was very like PTSD about that, and anyways, then Dunk like screams and tells them to stop, and like like Egg says, no, hold your tongue, they'll hurt you, like don't like just get out of here,
stupid boy.
But Egg isn't
out of here, you stupid boy.
Yeah, and then Egg all of a sudden starts calling the Kingsguard by their names, like wait, Yorgold, do as I say. The guards release Dunk, and Arion looks at him and he's like, you impudent little rat, what's happened to your hair? And Egg reveals, he's like, well, I cut it off, brother. I didn't want to look like you.
Yeah. Sick.
And it's just like, what? Like, Dunk is looking at Egg like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, anyway, so it's just kind of like, that's how the scene, it pans away. There's music happening.
See?
All the things. And then it's just like cuts, like
the pacing.
Cliffhanger.
Again, we're halfway through the series now, and they dropped that reveal on this episode. I think the pacing is actually, for such a small series and runtime, it's been very well done. I mean, if we're going to compare it to some of the slow rolling out stories and plots that we have in Game of Thrones, because they got to focus on 20 different characters in those other shows, like this, the pacing's just right for this one, for a show of this length. I think the fact that they've made that reveal halfway through, and we're also probably halfway through the extent of this tournament itself. I think it's spot on, honestly, like in terms of what they're trying to cover. I don't know the story, but for a novella, I think that they're covering quite a bit in terms of like all the scenes that they've added to kind of lead up to this point. And we know that they've added some things that are in the book as well, right? The padded.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, it was. So yeah, I don't know if
I said wow at the end. Like I had to. I know you guys didn't watch it. That's all I wrote. I was like, I couldn't do anything. But I was just like, whoa, that was like a shock to the system.
On the group chat. Yeah. No, I know. I mean, I said it too when I got to that part when I saw the episode. Christina, you knew about this though, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I did. And so I was like, oh man, when you guys find out like who this little boy is, like it's gonna be like a huge, like, you know what, we actually never talked about this, but like, and I don't know if you guys know this, but you remember in episode 1 when Dunk goes to that tavern and it's empty and there's that drunk guy,
the corner, the blonde guy
at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a blonde guy in the table, like whatever. He was just drunk, saying, "Get away from me," that guy.
He's the other missing prince.
Yeah, I figured something had to be with a prince of some sort, because he had money, he was given the money, and then he went upstairs with the little.
There's 2 princes, Daron and Aegon are missing.
Aegon missing.
So he's the other prince. And that's not like that's not a spoiler. That's like out there. Like I've been seeing it all over the place. I didn't catch that. I didn't know that.
And Egg is the other missing one. Ah, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all coming together. But the fact that he's
and you know how
in their midst and they don't know that he's there is kind of interesting as well. And I guess like
yeah, and you know,
yeah, go ahead.
You were mentioning about the coins. If you go back and watch episode 1, he pays in the Targaryen, like the dragon, the silver, the gold dragons or something.
Yes.
He pays the barkeeper, like that woman, in the gold because he's a Targaryen.
That's right.
And that's what he has. And that's why she says to Dunk, you never mind him, like you leave him alone kind of thing. Because she's obviously housing him and keeping him like because he's paying her in gold. Like
so that's why it was such a relevant kind of moment. And we were talking
was that about Aemon, you said?
No, Aemon is he's the one that got sent to the Citadel to be a maester. He's the Aerion is the oldest one, then there's Daron, and then there's Aemon and then Aegon.
What was the ones here's name? Aegon and Aemon?
But the drunken one is Daron.
Daron, okay. No, that's what I got confused there with the Daron.
And Egg is what?
Yeah, there's four of them, right? I think there's four kids. The one that's on the night. I think there's 4 of them.
Egg is who? Aegon? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
He's the youngest.
Aegon Targaryen.
All the brothers. Yeah.
Not to be confused with Egon from the Ghostbusters.
No, isn't that Eon? Isn't it
Egon? I can't remember his fucking name. It's something like that.
I don't know. It's one of the two. Yeah.
Egon, I think it's Egon, if I'm not mistaken. And if you're out there, Google.
No, you know what? She Googled for me that it was, per episode, it's $6 million just in production alone per episode for these fucking things.
That's nothing. That's fucking cheap.
Yeah. Compared
to a lot of money, but for half an hour.
Yeah. Well, here. If you guys want to hear an even crazier breakdown of the money stuff, though, go back to last episode. It's disappointing that you missed out on that, Jay. There was a great breakdown that I pulled off of that website of another relevant money scene from last episode about the exchange of different coins that he does when he sells his horse, and how, again, there's different coins like used now, even as opposed to Game of Thrones times. They're saying that like things were more expensive during this time period than they are later on, like the actual value
inflation.
Of yeah. So exactly, they talked about that. It's very interesting.
I was like, wow, they have an economy.
yeah. I love the focus on the money stuff this season too. Like, it's just such a weird, like, small part about the show, right? I don't know.
They're gonna come and find a silver Portuguese coin they've been looking for 10 years.
So, Christina, did you have any other notes about stuff for this one? Because I got the website open here with some other interesting facts on the episode. Unless you have stuff.
No, not really. Like, not anything.
Let me just see.
I mean, I got the rundown of the brothers here from this one. I know where they all play along in the Game of Thrones book, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was kind of confused. I know. There's 4 of them, right? There's 4 brothers. It's right here, 2 there, and there's just the drunk that you're talking about in the thing, right? And he's the eldest, right? And then you got Aerion, which is the Bright Flame. Yeah, I don't know if we met him yet. If he's come through in this one,
that was him on the horse in this one. That was the guy.
That was right.
Yes, that was the guy who jousted.
Okay. Yeah. And you got Aemon, which is the 3rd son, right? And at this point in the story, he's in the Citadel, like you said. He's going to be Maester. That's the one we talk about in Game of Thrones later on.
Yes,
that's That's Maester Nico right there. That's him, right? In Game of Thrones. If you guys go back and watch that was him.
He's a respectable dude in that show. Even though he went to the Night's Watch, I'll give him that.
Aegon
did that on purpose.
I know.
They call him Aegon the Unlikely, right? And I was thinking, why do they call him? Because he was the last one to get it to be seated on the throne or whatever. So he just went out and just was able to blend in with the normal folk and fuck around, make some extra cash, and try to be like just his own person, do his own little thing, right? But it's crazy because it even says he's the great grandfather of Daenerys.
Okay.
I think Anna debunked it. I think Anna says that Egg is the uncle.
Well, I have other
Oh.
stuff here that I don't really want to get into, but it says that there's a difference between the book and the show in terms of some of the lineage here.
Placements.
Yeah, I don't think it's time to get into that as much right now, but
It's a big
we can
deep
get
dive.
into it after the show's over.
What Roman numeral is V? Is 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's what John was Aegon the 5th, wasn't he?
I think you're
this
right.
This is a whole thing. We're talking. No, this is Aegon the 5th. This one that we're looking at here.
No,
John is Aegon the 5th.
So what she's saying here, it says Aemon revealed to Jon Snow that he was the son of Maekar, and apparently the TV dialogue had him say that Aegon's son was Aerys Targaryen, the Mad King in the books, and then there's a difference for what happens in the show as opposed to the book. So that's why I don't really want to get into it, because I want to see
Blood Raven and everything. It's a whole fucking craze, bro.
I want to see which direction they go for the storyline in the show, for the relations between these people, and if they really even touch on the Mad King stuff. So that's why I said I'll leave that at that. But it's interesting stuff. I did want to mention this, though. This is very interesting. There were several hints to Aeg's true identity in the first 3 episodes, both large and subtle. So I thought this might be fun to go over now, knowing that we know this information now, which times they kind of tipped their hat to, like they kind of gave us little hints, right? So let's see here. The Easter eggs. Aeg did claim that he is from King's Landing. This is what I mentioned earlier. But when Dunk asked him if he was from the slums of Flea Bottom like him, he said no, admitting that he's actually from the Red Keep. Aeg doesn't have a lowborn accent like Dunk does, even though they're both from King's Landing. Aeg clearly pronounces "my lord" as 2 distinct words instead of slurring it together as "me lord" the way that commoners do, or "my lord" or whatever. Yeah, so that's again, I guess, a dead giveaway. Just like he's well spoken than like this guy. In game,
that was so subtle. Like, that is such a subtle thing. Like, I don't know if like anyone who didn't know who he already was would have picked that up.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I certainly didn't. In Game of Thrones season 2, Tywin Lannister observed this about Arya Stark, but she waved it off by claiming her father was a well-to-do stonemason who spent a lot of time with noblemen. It's not unusual for well-off merchants at Ashford to speak properly like noblemen, but it doesn't fit the backstory of a street orphan. That was when she was in disguise, obviously, during that series.
Yeah.
Aeg has a large vocabulary and is unusually intelligent for his age, implying that he's had formal education, well beyond a street orphan. Aeg knows a great deal about the great houses of the realm and all the major knights competing at them. In the preceding episode, Aeg speaks condescendingly about Lord Tyrell and the other great houses as merely royal lapdogs. He even knows specific details about the Kingsguard, blurting out that Sir Donnell of Duskendale owns a large fishing fleet. When Dunk asks how he knows that, he just waffles, "I like fishing." Remember that? Right? He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm into fishing." Again, these are all just like huge red flags that we should have picked up on as viewers, I guess, Jay, but we didn't. We're just like, "Oh, this kid's smart. I like it." Aeg got nervous when Targaryen procession arrived at Ashford and asked to go back and check on their camp in the hedges because he was afraid that they'd spot him. That does happen in that episode. He acts odd all of a sudden when they show up.
Yes.
After Baelor approves his admission to the tourney, Dunk says he's hopeful that if he performs very well, there's some chance he might be hired on to service with House Targaryen itself. Aeg then tries to dissuade him, saying that the royal house usually doesn't hire lowly hedge knights. Aeg wanted to keep Dunk from trying to draw Baelor and Maekar's attention on them both. So again, just like the way he was going about things. When Aeg's cousin Valar Targaryen is jousting, Dunk says he bet on him to win, but Aeg says he'd take that bet. Apparently in the novella, Valar is a young rider of only middle skill, or Valar, sorry. Aeg knows his own cousin and thus knows he's not sure to win.
Mm.
When Dunk tossed the copper penny to the ground, sure that Aeg would pick it up as soon as he left, he actually didn't. An orphan boy would be eager for it, but Aeg is a prince, not concerned with such low value of coin. right? And in this episode, Dunk jokes that Egg doesn't like ale. In the books, noblemen don't drink ale beers, but can afford to drink wine. Children are usually limited to a glass at feasts. This came up when Arya Stark was traveling through the Riverlands, pretending to be a commoner. She noted that she never had commoner's ale before, but didn't think it was half bad. So that's even like, connecting certain moments or like mannerisms, with other royal people in Game of Thrones, right? With Arya Stark's perspective on stuff when she had to act like she was lowborn. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Two events in this episode are similar to events in House of the Dragon. They are not callbacks to that series, but rather House of the Dragon drew inspiration from A Night of the Seven Kingdoms novellas because they were adapted out of order. Egg reveals that he's bald because he shaved his silver blonde hair. There you go. He has silver blonde hair. So he wouldn't be recognized as a Targaryen. And then in House of Dragon season 2, Alan of Hull shaved his head to hide his status as Corlys Valerian's bastard son, if you remember that. So there's, again, like, they took the idea of someone shaving their hair that's identifiable to other people and used it in House of the Dragon, apparently, they're saying here, too. In the series premiere of House of the Dragon, Daemon Targaryen cheated during a tournament by directly aiming for his opponent's horse. I forgot about that.
They're dirty.
Yeah. Apparently that happened in the first season of series premiere of House of the Dragon. Yeah, Daemon did that. This was also an invention of the TV.
He did.
Yep. This was also an invention of the TV series and a call forward to how Aerion did the same thing in the first Dunk and Egg novella. The difference is that Daemon only tripped up Hightower's horse, and he was able to walk away from it, while Aerion impaled Humphrey Harding's horse through the neck, after which Harding's leg was broken under the horse as it fell. Even touching on what you said earlier, Christina, about how normally you would think they would just trip the horse, but this was like a direct blow to killing the horse, like as it rode by, which is even dirtier than what.
Well, I think it's dirty, but it also just speaks to the character, like who he is. He's just a monster. Like he's not, he's not a normal. Yeah, he's just a dick. Like he doesn't care about anything or anyone.
Raymond,
it's not honorable at all.
No. Raymond Fossaway invites Dunk into his family's tent to offer him some cider, saying they make it themselves. The castle seat of House Fossaway is in fact named Cider Hall, as indicated by their house sigil of a red apple. The Fossaways own a large number of apple orchards and are a major cider producer in Westeros. So there you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then, other things are really just tidbits that were revealed by cast during New York Comic Con here that I don't really need to get into. And then, just differences between the novella and the show. I'm just scrolling through to see if there's anything other interesting things about the episode here itself, but I think it's just a lot of things like that now, or that are left here written by fans. But yeah, that was the most interesting thing I kind of came across, was like all the red flags that this guy was not who he was saying he was in earlier episodes, as well as a couple other things. So there you go. Good stuff. And Christina, thanks for covering the synopsis for this one from your very own, mostly your very own notes here this week. I know it was a lot to get down, like you said.
It's okay. It was. I haven't done it in a while, so I'm like, oh God, like how much do I reveal? How much do I get into? Like there's a lot of dialogue in this one, so it's harder because there was a lot of different scenes, but there was a shit ton of dialogue. And like just experience from Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, it's like, how much dialogue do you repeat? How much do you get into? Because it's like you could spend an hour just reciting word for word what they talk about. It's like it's insane. So
I remember when we were in like the deep series, when we were deep into the series, me and Jay, in our heyday of doing late night chat, we would get together and we would record 2 episodes in a night. So you're talking about 2+ hours of us doing episodes, and some Game of Thrones episodes were fairly quick depending on what was going on. But then others were just like a dumping ground of information and names, and it's just I was at that point I had did it enough. I definitely had like a handle on it, but Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was
It was
a
a
lot.
lot.
Yeah, even Jay, like that was at the point
It's hard
where
to pull stuff
Jay-
apart.
Jay was writing extensive notes too to kind of follow along with everything because he was like really getting into it at that point. So yeah, I mean,
Nerding out, man, hardcore,
yeah.
And
You know,
yeah, those were fun fucking wee hours of the night, but it
Yeah.
was fun recording those shows. But yeah, fuck, man. I used to give them a lot of euros. Fuck, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we used to do at least 2 or 3 episodes when we sat down to do those because we would try to bank them and then go off and watch more episodes. And because you gotta remember, we had to kind of get ready for the new season of House of the Dragon when we started doing that. So we really only gave ourselves over a year. I feel like it was to watch all of Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon season 1 leading up to the release of House of the Dragon season 2. Right. So that was pretty interesting. You were part of a bunch of those episodes.
Well, it was like the House of Dragons 1, I think was a rewatch for me too at the point because I had watched it, but we were still doing Game of Thrones.
You'd started watching. That's what got you interested to watch Game of Thrones. That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You started a weird way, although like you totally can do that now. Like I was explaining that to somebody today. If you like, because she's
with this.
Well, she's really into fantasy and dragons. So I said, if that's what you're into, watch House of the Dragon first, because even chronologically in the timeline, you're not doing yourself a disservice. It's the first thing, right?
No.
Well, it makes sense.
You're not spoiling anything for yourself yet. Like it
So
all
what
gets
we know
revealed
now.
anyways. So
I mean, is that really the first thing ever? Or is there going to be something that was prior to House of Dragons that they're going to pop
There
up?
might be. They haven't confirmed anything, but
it hasn't really finished.
Oh, you know, I think if I heard rumblings, they were gonna go back and do like when the Targaryens first came over to Westeros, like when they left. I'm gonna say Valaris, but that's not.
I was
right.
gonna say, was it Valeria
or is it Valaris?
Valeria or yeah, something like that.
Yes, Old Valyria. Yes,
Old Valeria. Yeah,
when they left Old Valyria because they got that one prince or got a prophecy in a dream that Old Valyria was gonna burn, and so they left. And they fled, and they came to Westeros. And they came to Westeros, and that's I think if they're gonna do something, I feel like I've heard rumblings of them going back and doing like an origin story like that. But we're talking like thousands of years before any of this. This is not like, whatever. But if they do, it'd be interesting to like see that. Like that would be kind of cool to go back and see what that was all about.
Yeah, because this says Valeria, the Valerian history and rise of the Targaryens. Yeah, so that's essentially even before the events that took place in the first season of House of the Dragon. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's like hundreds or thousands of years before. Yeah. Like they're just like
when they learn how to ride a horse, and when they learn how to ride their dragons.
I think they were born on dragons. Like I don't even think it was like.
We figured out they laid them basically,
and then
we had to sit on one, right?
And then there's still the hope out there, and we could talk more about this even towards the end of the series or prior to the House of the Dragon when more hopefully news comes out. I hope this show doesn't. I haven't really looked into it. I hope this show isn't flopping because I want more spinoffs like they've been talking about. So I hope for the sake of the audience and for HBO to back more spinoffs that this continues. But I really hope. I really hope that we get something that continues Game of Thrones timeline, like with the characters. Why would you do that? Why would you burst my bubble like that? I know there was talks about the Jon Snow. There was talks about the Jon Snow show, but they apparently the script wasn't good. They didn't like the direction that they went with for that. I just want Tyrion again, man. I want to know what happens to this guy. Like, the adventures of Tyrion.
Like these,
that's all I want.
Tyrion's fucking dealing with serial killers now, buddy.
Those actors haven't filmed Game of Thrones in 10 plus years. There is no way they're going back. Like even I feel like Emilia Clarke.
Half of them aren't even doing anything.
I feel
like
no, that's like asking Daniel Radcliffe to go back and be Harry Potter again. Like there's no way he would do it.
Stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened in the world of TV. No, it's true. People have gone back like how many years after in reprise roles. It's happened. When the work dries up, Christina, they will go back and consider it. All of a sudden, a shitty script is like, oh, yeah, I can work with this.
Yeah, we got no problem with this.
Stranger things have happened. That's all I'm gonna say. Stranger things have happened, right?
I'm gonna say right now it's not happening.
All right. You have it on the record,
I would like for it to happen.
Christina said it on the record. It's not gonna happen. So there you have it.
Now that we talked about it on the show, you gotta remember when stuff gets talked about on the show, stuff happens in real life after.
That's
some
true.
reason.
Jay has to say it though. Jay has to say it.
I'm hoping that there's going to be something like what Nico was saying, but I'm not 100% sure, but stranger things have happened, like Nico said.
Tiny Tales starring Tyrion. Fantastic. It sells itself.
The warped brain of Tyrion Lannister. Right? With that weird head.
Gosh.
No, but he's got his own work, bro. He's filming Dexter now. He's good.
I just that's all I want. All right. I'll end on that.
Tiny Tales. Anyways.
Actually, he looked good as a knight right now. He's got the beard going. He's got the whole thing going on. He probably looked good as a fucking.
He's doing lots of good stuff still. He is.
He's in everything.
Yeah. He is.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, half of everything at least.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. You want another gong? All right. This is certainly the Gong Show. All right. So enough about Tyrion and whatever else Jay said there. But yeah, you can tune back in next week, hopefully with Christina again joining us. If not, she will be back the week after. Don't worry too much, guys. We'll have to carry on without her, just like we did when JT decided to take a snooze last week.
No, you know what was funny? If I would have set my computer on and had it there, and you guys, and I had it on screen, but behind stage, you could have actually seen it. It would have been kind of neat. I was thinking about that afterwards. I should do that next time if I decide I'm going to lay down.
You should. Just put yourself in the backstage so we can see.
And then at the end of the day, I'm sleeping, then you can fucking just click it off anyways, turn it out.
But yeah, no, it's a great episode, and thanks again to Christina for taking us through this one. And hopefully you'll be joining us next week. But if not, you'll be back the week after, as I mentioned. Jay and me will be here for sure. Make sure to like and subscribe as always, and tune in. We only got 3 more episodes to go. 3 more episodes to go for this season. And then we're going to be back off the air here live for another few months until season 3 of House of the Dragon, which is unfortunate. But I'm
looking forward to that too.
I'm looking forward to that a lot too. I might have to do a rewatch, honestly. I might have to. Yeah,
bring it on. I'm ready.
I might have to do a rewatch of that one. But
this is probably the best time because there's a lot of in-between shows that haven't come out yet that are coming out. So maybe you get it in over a weekend or something.
Bro, I know. I just randomly started watching Mindhunter the other day, a show that was abandoned.
So good.
It's so good, but that's never coming back either. They've been talking about it for I don't know how many years now. It's just
like 5 years.
To your point, yeah, David Fincher abandoned it. Everyone's abandoned it. So I love that show. I just because I started rewatching it randomly the other day. I'm throwing an episode of Mindhunter. Ended up watching both seasons. It's done again, and then I get to the end and I got angry again. I'm like, no! I'm like the way they ended it. I'm like, what's going on here? Speaking of shows that never ended and just abandoned, right? So
it was one of the first shows I watched on Netflix, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" And I was like, "Fail!"
Yeah, they really dropped the ball on that one. That was really good, that show. So, but anyways,
different show.
Yeah. Thanks again to everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to Jay and Christina, and we'll catch you guys next time. Yes, I guess. Thanks to me. All right, guys. Later.
All right. Peace out.
Later. Welcome to the show, everybody.